All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Pin High Podcast presented by Pin High Media. Um, what are we talking this week? We're talking a lot of LIV golf and PGA Tour, um, you know, blood boiling conversation. I feel like that can kind of just be the intro in and of itself because it's going to be a lot of that today. And it's API week. Rest in peace, Arnold Palmer. Mr. Palmer. Let's get into it.
This is Jordan Spieth here, and
this is the Pin High Podcast.
The song came from like Golficity.
Yeah, we're back.
We're good?
Yeah.
All right. That is the first live intro I've ever done, and I messed up twice. So
Only twice. You usually mess up like 5 times on the non-live ones. So
actually, I've gotten better over the years.
yeah, it's true.
I used to laugh like uncontrollably at the beginning, and now I just stumble over words like Pin High Podcast. It's kind of a tongue twister. Pin High Podcast, Pin High Podcast, Pin High Podcast. Anyway, let's get inside the ropes. Start the week. Remember what tournament we had for a second because the Honda Classic just seemed like such a fever dream.
Yeah, so what happens when we record on a Wednesday? I feel like Tuesday, like the golf's in your head. Wednesday, I don't know. You kind of forget about it. You move on to the next week. So
yeah, no, like I'm on to API, but like we might as well talk some Honda while we're here. You know what I was gonna do? I was gonna get a glass of wine to celebrate our first one and done winner.
That's right, Chris Kirk coming through for the boys. It was a tough ending there, I will say.
Yeah, I
thought he was
mean,
gonna lose.
so the thing is, I was rooting for Chris Kirk, obviously, because we like had him in our one and done pool, but because like there's no money involved there, like I wasn't like, oh, if Cole wins, I'm gonna be pissed because like he had a good story, and quite frankly, I liked the jogger fit.
Yeah, the jogger fit was all right. He has some really weird shoes though. I feel like he was wearing like the dad shoes.
What was he wearing?
I don't even know what they were, but they looked like the dad New Balance shoes. So it was a weird mix. But
well,
yeah, he's
so
a good story.
I believe what was I looking at? Oh, New Balance is giving MLB players cleats that look like the dad New Balance shoes. I thought it was golf for a second, but I was like, New Balance doesn't do golf. Oh, but they do. Have you seen that Malbin collection with New Balance?
Yeah, they do.
That is cool. That's pretty off topic though.
Yeah, getting back to Eric Cole, he's like a mini tour god. So
Legend.
to say, yeah, like he was won over 50 times on mini tours. Very unorthodox path to the PGA Tour. He's 34 years old. He's a rookie. That was his 15th start, hometown tournament, and yeah, he was just making like every putt on Sunday.
Yeah, and like again, he's hard not to root for because like they're going over on the broadcast, like comes from a family of 7 children. His mom was on the LPGA. His dad, he would have become like the 3rd or 4th father-son duo to win on tour, or 4th or 5th or something like that. Was dad's name Bobby Cole? Am I wrong in that?
I have no clue. Yeah, Bobby Cole. Yeah, sorry.
Bobby Cole. Yeah. So like all these things make you down the stretch kind of root for a guy like that. But the broadcast was kind of shoving that down your throat, but then also was kind of ignoring the Chris Kirk storylines that are, make him such a, like a rootable player down the stretch on like a Sunday. Yeah, all these guys are at the Classic.
And Chris Kirk's been knocking on the door for a while now, I feel like. So yeah, it's good to see him in the winner's circle again for the first time in I think 8 years. So yeah. And
yep.
Obviously
I was funny. Is this his fifth win?
I'm not sure. I'd have to double check.
I believe it's his 5th win, and I was like, wait. So this was like, mind you, we started following golf like what? Like the Jordan Spieth like run, I'd say, right? That was when we first started like actually paying attention. And
He
then
does have 5 wins, yeah. So he won the Viking Classic, the Galdry Classic, which is the RSM, I believe. The Viking Classic is the Sanderson Farms. Deutsche Bank Championship, which is Dell Technologies. The Crown Plaza Invitational, which is now Charles Schwab Challenge, and the Honda Classic. So he's basically won 4 events that have name changes since the last time that he's won them, and then the Honda Classic this week. So that tells you
and the
how.
Honda is changing as well.
Yeah, sure.
The Honda's changing sponsorships. But what was I just saying? I'm blanking.
That he has five
What was I just
wins.
talking about? Oh yeah. So like we started following golf. Like, would you say Jordan Spieth run?
Yeah, I would say so.
Like I think the moment that I remember really getting into golf was like the final round of the 2017 Open Championship, him versus Kuchar.
I agree. Sorry, I'm like messing around with volume right now, so hopefully
Yeah,
we're
what are
not
you doing?
we're not doing too much. Sorry.
I'm just getting a blank stare at you. I'm
No, no,
like, okay.
I'm being told that my voice is not super clear, but I guess it's clear now. But yeah, yeah, it's good to see Chris Kirk in the winner circle. Sorry if
Yeah,
I'm just messing around all the stream, getting out of conversation here. This is why we need Trev.
yeah, no problem, no problem. I'll keep going off tangent. So anyway, like anybody, like any, and unless you're like a country club kid, I feel like you're not following PGA Tour golf growing up. So we started following like 2017. We're not familiar with the winner circle 4-time prior to this weekend winner Chris Kirk. So it's like crazy. I honestly going into Sunday, I thought he'd never won on tour.
Yeah, no, I kind of I knew that he had won on tour. I didn't know he had 5 wins. So that's
Yeah.
something that it's just before our time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's move into some talk with LIV over the weekend because like the Honda Classic was great and all, and we kind of thought that LIV would maybe not outshadow, but like there would be more news around it than there was, and there was going to be better viewership than there was. But I want to say that there was 298,000 people who tuned into the final round on Sunday for LIV, and then like 2 hours later, a rerun of some like 90s television show put up like 350,000 views.
Yeah, that is true.
And then the PGA Tour, the Honda Classic, put up like 1.6 million on Sunday.
Yes. So I guess we know who's watching what during the weekend. I guess I don't know about LIV Golf though, because they obviously were on the CW and they're pulling the numbers from the CW channel. I think you could have watched it on the Live Plus app that they just put into the App Store a couple days
I
ago.
think that
So
was for international people though.
yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't really click into it. I did tune in for a couple holes on the CW. Yeah, that was very interesting.
I
I wasn't
downloaded this.
really like into it. I don't know. It's just hard for me to get into the Live Golf. I mean, by the time I tuned in, it was Charles Howell the third, and I think it was
Peter
Peter
Uline.
Uline at the top of the leaderboard, and Howell had like a 3-shot lead, and it just was kind of out of hand. So yeah, it didn't really pique my interest
It's
much.
a tough. It's a tough leaderboard for them first go around this season, especially when you're like trying to capitalize on competing with a field like the Honda, where you have Eric Cole trying to win a win a PGA Tour event. It's like, yeah, if you have Brooks Koepka, Cam Smith, DJ, like Joaquin Neiman going down the stretch, it's like, well, maybe I'll watch that. But I still, for some reason, don't think that I would rather watch that on Live Golf. I don't know what it is than an Eric Cole and Chris Kirk, like 15, 16, 17, 18 Sunday stretch on NBC.
Yeah, I don't
What
know.
is it? What is it about Live Golf that like makes it that unwatchable?
I guess it's just like there's
And
nothing
it's not just
behind
me.
it. Yeah, I know it's not just you. I guess there's just like nothing behind it. Like the PGA Tour has like the history behind it, where Live Golf kind
Mm-hmm.
of has to create their own history over the course of the next couple years. I feel like a PGA Tour win means more for a guy than a Live Golf win, because a Live Golf win, you're still on Live Golf, you're still getting paid that guaranteed money that you made in the beginning, and then on the PGA Tour, if a guy like Eric Cole wins an event, it changes his life, right? So like
Yeah,
you don't
and
really
still
get
did change.
that in Live Golf. I mean, like maybe it changes your life in a little bit different of a way, where Charles Howell like won more money this week than he had won in his entire PGA Tour career, but not to
True.
the point of life and death. So
That
I
can't be
think
true.
that is true.
4 million?
Yeah, I don't know if he's won that much in his PGA Tour career.
Is he not an old guy?
He's 43 years old. He's been playing for a while, but I don't know if he's won on tour. Um, I could find his official money if the PGA Tour didn't
I just
scrap
have a
him
hard time
from.
believing that he didn't win $4 million in his career as a 43-year-old.
Okay, all of last year and the year before, but
Okay, there you go.
he's won $40-something million. I was way
Yeah,
off there,
I was like, what?
but yeah,
He's
um,
43.
yeah, but he has won more money in this one event than he did all of last year. That's the stat. That
Yeah.
was me shooting a random stat.
So that brings us to today. Everybody for Monday and Tuesday news cycle, we're talking about Live Golf's ratings. But then today, PGA Tour announces that next year's elevated events potentially no cut, 75
Yeah,
to 80 players, 70 to 75 players, one of the two. I I hate to go against it because my guy Max was really making some good points in that PGA presser at API, but I hate it. It's just so much like the WGCs, and the WGCs were kind of a snore fest for me.
yeah. I don't know why. Like, I guess just because you got the top 50 players in the world, like it should be good, but I don't know. Like the WGCs just didn't really do it for me. Maybe it was the courses that they were played at, or whatnot. Maybe the fields were too small in the WGCs, but I don't know. You like a couple weeks ago, Nick Taylor playing in the WM Open elevated event. Like he won so much money during that event, he probably wouldn't have been in the field if it was the no cut that they're proposing. So like you kind of lose that story. Like it's great for the top 50 players in the world, but for the guys that are outside of that, not so much.
And I think, at least for my like interest level in it, it goes back to why do I care about Eric Cole and Chris Kirk more than I do about like a Live Golf leaderboard? I think it's because in the back of our minds we care about like guys being on the cut line, and guys like I for whatever reason I cared that Harrison Endicott made the cut this week.
Yeah,
Don't know why that is.
and
Or if there's a Monday
Monday
qualifier,
qualifier. Yeah,
Ryan Gerard. Ryan
yes.
Gerard. I
Didn't even
care
know
that
his
he
name
made the
before
cut.
last week.
No, I care that he made the cut. But and now he's playing in the Puerto Rico Open this week. Hopefully, he doesn't win and curse his entire career. But I don't know. It's just like something like the PGA Tour in my eyes, like just has that extra. I don't know. I don't know how you'd explain it, but it just has that extra incentive for a fan to care.
There's like intensity there too. Like I watched a little bit of Live Golf Friday, Saturday when they had a couple of them on, and I don't know, the music playing in the background with just like I don't know, people talking and stuff like that. It just didn't feel like a real golf event. They weren't shorts. I mean, I actually kind of like the shorts rule, but like it just
Mm.
doesn't really look like a real golf event out there. I mean, especially they're playing at Mayakoba. I get it. Like that wasn't really a draw on the PGA Tour either. So there's not gonna be a ton of fans there. I think they drew like okay for where they were playing in terms of people going to the event, but yeah, I don't know. The vibe is just different than what we're used to, I guess. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just hard for me to adapt to that right now.
And I tweeted this out earlier when I was going on a little bit of a rampage on the Pin High account. Live
Yes.
Golf, great. Did you see me do that?
Yes.
Yeah, if you like Live Golf, like great. I I don't hate it. I just find it to be incredibly boring. But if you like it, then good for you. I don't like think any less of you. But like at the end of the day, You see these people being like, oh, PGA and LIV Tour should like play each other. I don't think the PGA, if they're going to come out on top on all this, which they are, needs to give LIV Golf any time of day because they don't need, like, I'm sure I would watch PGA Tour versus LIV Golf Ryder Cup style like
Yeah, I
thing.
think that'd be
I'm
interesting.
a golf fan. I don't think, you know, my dad or, you know, one of my friends who like doesn't really follow golf or at least casually follows golf would watch that. Like at the end of the day, PGA Tour doesn't need extra people to tune into their events. That's not the case for LIV Golf.
Yeah, no,
LIV Golf would
I agree.
absolutely love to do that because they'd actually get eyes on their product for once.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. And they're pushing the team element of LIV Golf like down our throats when you watch the broadcast. The team scores are ahead of the like they show you the team scores before they show you the player like individual scores. When you log onto their website and you check the scores, the team scores show up first. I think they're really showing that because that's what's the big difference between them and the PGA Tour. I know there's a lot of differences, but that's the huge difference. It's the team element that the PGA Tour doesn't have at all. So they're really pushing that, and it's just hard to really get into it. You know, we did the quiz last week. You know, I said I was a big Range Goats guy on the thing, kind of jokingly, and I couldn't really get into rooting for a team for LIV Golf. I don't know why. It felt a little off.
Yeah, I mean, my Crushers won.
That's right.
My
Your
Crusher, me and
Crushers
Trevor's Crushers, they won. They
killed you.
took it. Yeah,
Um,
they have 40 points to start
but
the year.
I wonder if you're like say you're under the age of 15 and you're watching LIV Golf for the first time, you're gonna grow up with LIV Golf, and you grew up with the Crushers. I don't know if the teams are gonna stay around for that long, but say you grow up with the Crushers, and I don't know, I could see it like 15 years down the road. The Crushers are like these teams have like big brands like they would any other sport. So I don't know. I guess that's what they're going for. We'll see if it actually happens. We'll see if LIV Golf is even around in 15 years. But that's what I'm more curious to see.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like we keep talking about it, so like they're staying in golf media, but like I don't think that they have anything outside of golf media, and that is such a niche category. Like it's very present on my Twitter feed, but like my Twitter feed is incredibly niche to like a certain type of person that's like I don't know, like a 25 to like 40-year-old male that like is in into golf like
Yeah,
enough that they know who Nick Watney is.
exactly.
People like Nick Watney catch strays for me on this show weekly. I
He's
just
one of
come up
those
with a
guys
random
that used to be very, very good at golf and then just kind of fell off like a bunch of other
yeah
guys.
yeah
Which I guess you could say Chris Kirk was one of those guys, and he came back and won this week. So that's the type of story that you have on the PGA Tour. The guys that fall off
great
and then
ball
they come
striker,
back and win. It's just like,
ball striker of the year. His
I
case is
mean,
going
maybe
up.
he only hits the ball one. Like he only hits draws. Have you seen that? He
He's
plays the
just
draw.
swing and draw, a
Yeah,
swooping
every
draw.
time. I honestly like a lot of those holes at the end of the Honda Classic call for a fade, and he's hitting the swinging draw on every hole, and he still won the tournament. So that tells you like maybe amateur golfers out there looking to see how they should play. Find a shot that you like, that you could play consistent, and just stick with it. I feel like you don't need to be hitting draws and fades and you know rotating the ball so much. You could just find something that works for you, and you could hit it every time. I mean, Max Homa hits a fade almost every time. Works for him.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I still had my fade because that was when I played consistent golf, and
You knew
now
where the ball was gonna
I
land.
knew where the ball was going every single time.
Now, can we
But
talk about
now,
the end of that tournament because we didn't really get to it yet? 18th hole, Kirk has a two-shot lead, two-shot lead or one-shot lead, one-shot lead,
uh,
one-shot lead,
one shot lead. I think it was
and
15
he's
under.
like 250 out from the green. There's water on the right. The flag is tucked in on the right, and he pulls out the 3-wood, I think, or whatever club, 5-wood, 3-wood, whatever club he was hitting there, and he goes for it. Hits it on like the most aggressive line ever. 1 yard short, hits the rocks on the wall right in front of the green and out
He's
towards the
trying to go
pond in the
Tiger.
middle of the water. And it's like, oh, he just lost this tournament. Like, he went for it and he absolutely lost this tournament. Um, and then, what's his name? I already forgot his name. Hits the
Eric
ball.
Cole.
Yeah, Eric Cole hits the
He is quite
ball.
forgettable. It's
It's
okay.
a very generic name. Eric Cole hits the ball to the left, so he kind of gives him a shot. Kirk has a drop that's about 150 yards back and sticks it, and you're like, okay, maybe he's in. And
Oh, I thought. I mean,
sticking it
as
means
soon.
like 5 feet, but
Yeah,
Cole had to like hit like a really nippy like chip shot, and he
had to cover a
almost
lot of sand on a decent amount of rough.
yeah, and he almost hit it into the like water on his like approach shot, like his sand shot or his like side of the green shot.
Mm-hmm. He
Very
had a belly to ledge.
nervy moments. Yeah, and then he belly the wedge. Kirk makes the putt. They go into a playoff, and then Kirk takes it from there. But yeah, that was you know going for it in that situation. Not sure if I would have done it if I was Chris Kirk.
I don't think he meant to do it. I think he just like fucked up.
I mean, yeah, he took the like aggressive line instead of just hitting it to the left and like the safe play. But
Yeah.
yeah, that
Anyway,
was
I
just
mean,
like you have Eric Cole and Chris Kirk going wire to wire, and it was very interesting, like how it played out in 18th hole, and they're not household names, and that just kind of tells you like Tour's in like a pretty good spot right now. I feel like if you could have an ending like that in this event where the field's pretty weak, I don't know. It was pretty interesting to me. I think golf Twitter was going off for it. So yeah,
yeah, when I don't want to keep harping on it, and we can move on from the Honda Classic because I feel like people aren't listening for the Honda Classic talk. But when Chris Kirk and Eric Cole are the guys that are contending for a tournament, and golf Twitter is going off about it, the PGA Tour is in a good spot.
yeah, I agree. I guess with that, any other stories this week, or should we get into?
One story.
Okay.
So Joel Damon was on Part of My Take,
Yes, saw
and
some
he told a
clips.
story about how when he was on the Corn Ferry Tour, he was in somewhere in Mississippi, Hicksville, the sticks,
He called it the armpit of America.
the armpit of America. He thought he'd missed the cut, went out on Friday night, then realizes he makes the cut, and he's one of the first guys off on Saturday. Makes 10 birdies, super hungover, and shoots 9 under the day. Barely made the cut and is now in 5th place. And this struck a chord with me because some of the best golf I've ever played is after being like brutally hungover.
I Going back to Joel Damon for a second. Not to spoil anything in the Netflix series if you haven't watched it, plug your ears, I guess. But he was in the U.S. Open qualifier, and the U.S. Open qualifier is 2 rounds of golf in one day. Uh, and he didn't really play that well in the first day. Like, I mean, he's a PGA Tour player, so he shot around even par or whatever. And he needed to go like 7 or 8 under in the second round. And he just goes into the clubhouse and he's like, "Well, I guess it's not going my way. I might go home or whatever." Gets like a bunch of White Claws, like drinks a bunch of White Claws, and then goes out for his second round and just like shoots like 10 under and makes the U.S. Open.
I think that he should just like get a little. I mean, like it's responsibly.
Yeah,
Should get a little saucy before like important round.
and yeah, not only did he get in the U.S. Open, he finished like top 5 in the U.S. Open. So
Yeah, what a story. But
yeah,
talk,
he's
talk
a
about the
character.
common man's golfer.
Yeah, Joel Damon is one of those guys. I feel like he doesn't have any like belief in himself. At least that's what the Netflix was trying to like show. They're like he doesn't think that he's that good, but he really is that good.
Yeah, they tried to really harp on that.
And they're like, yeah, that's the reason he's not like top 40 in the world.
Yeah. Um, but do you agree with that sentiment? That have you ever played like good golf while hungover?
I don't really think so. I don't know. No, not really. Doesn't really work
I
for
see.
me.
Yeah,
I usually
I
play
did-
mediocre golf in general all the time, so like, yeah.
I it was like my friend's 20 I guess it was 22nd, so like it didn't really matter. His 22nd birthday. and I was interning with the Central New York PGA section, and I had to be at a tournament at like 7:30 in the morning. That was like 30 minutes away. But the night before, it was just, we were having a party, and we stayed up until like, I don't know, 4:30, 5, and I was like, I had had some beverages. I wake up at like 6:57. I have to leave at 7. No, I wake up at 6:57 and I have to be there at 7, 30 minutes away.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, took a 15-second shower, got out the door, was probably 45 minutes late, and ended up playing incredible golf because I had to play as like a marker for this like women's event.
I mean, maybe like just when there's no pressure on, you think you're gonna play terrible, you end up playing all right. I think my
I
problem
was
is like I'll start off all right with the no pressure on, and then like once you start off all right, you're like, oh boy, I'm like actually playing well, and then that's where it goes south.
I think I was 2 under through 6, and the people I was with were like, oh, like I think they said, where do you play? I was like,
Silver mine.
Drumlins? Like, and then I probably proceeded to make quite a few double bogeys if I was like 200 through like
Did you get
5
to
or
play
7.
from the? Did you get to play from the ladies' tees in that?
I did. So like
That's
that's
an
one
interesting.
thing.
That's an interesting sensation, isn't it?
They weren't that
I feel
short
like
though.
people should like go like if you play a golf course enough times, like you should just have a round from the ladies'
I think I
tees.
played it from 60 to 100. So it's like it's not that short. It's like
No,
whatever. Um,
well, I
but
mean
it was
anything
interesting.
compared to our home golf club is not that short. So it's like
Fair, but it wasn't like dog legs. So
yeah,
I mean, like it wasn't like a long course. So I guess that's a factor into that story that I played from the women's tees. But we try to leave that
we don't have
part
to
out.
tell anyone.
We
Um,
try to leave that part out, but you called me out there.
Playing for a
Um,
marker in a tournament. You know that? Remember that guy who would always be the marker for the Masters? He's like a member at.
no,
So there's like a guy who's a member at member at Augusta National,
okay,
and like he's like called like the ghost player. I think his name is Jeff Knox. Jeff Knox, yeah.
okay,
Um, and basically every year, if there's like an odd number of at cuts or if somebody withdraws, he plays in the like first group as a marker at the Masters at Augusta. I think he's done it like 10 or 11 times, whatever. He's been doing it since 2002, basically. And this guy is like a ridiculously good golfer. And he's a member at Augusta, and he would like beat some pros as the marker at Augusta. Wearing the Masters logo on his hat and shirt, just out there playing with one of the pros, first guy off on a Saturday and Sunday. Uh, pretty pretty fun job, I would say.
that's legendary. And that brings
Yeah,
up a
so
question.
apparently they're retiring him this year. They are now going for a younger guy to be the
I'll do it.
marker
Stuart
for
Hagstad's
Augusta.
good.
I mean, they're doing it for like a member who's younger. They just they're forcing him to retire. So
How young is the youngest member at Augusta, you think?
I don't know.
Like, do you think there's like 23-year-olds that belong to Augusta?
I don't know how it works at Augusta. Is there like a
I don't.
family like
Yeah,
membership?
there's no way there's like
No
a
way.
family.
Yeah. So I don't know who the youngest member at Augusta would be. I mean, you just like you don't really know anything about membership at Augusta. It's so secretive. But yeah,
Oh, I mean, so what's that guy's name?
Jeff Knox.
So, so his name's Jefferson, I guess.
Yeah,
He was 39 years old in
when he started.
2002
Yeah,
when he became a member, and he was the youngest.
and also like a fantastic golfer too. Played with Rory in the 2014 Masters.
I guess this is 2010. There's a 2010 Bleacher Report article with the membership. So like we'll just play it off that. There's nobody below like 59. I see a 50 here.
So this guy Jeff Knox holds the course record at Augusta, 61.
Oh wow, really?
Imagine being that guy.
Why didn't he play on tour?
I don't know. He's like a businessman.
Okay, so there's no 23-year-olds that belong
No.
to Augusta National. I'm
They're
gonna go out.
probably like some like 40-year-old they like replace him with because he's 2002. He's probably almost 60 now. So
So it's not too late.
just get
I mean,
wicked good at golf in the next however many years,
the
and
youngest
also
guy on
very
this
very
list,
very rich.
youngest guy on this list is 42. I'd say the median age is like 68. So we got like 45 years.
Become a professional marker for Augusta National.
Got 48 years to lock that game in. So before we get into API, there's one more question based off of this that came to mind, and it kind of is in spirit with the Seminole Pro-Am on Monday. What is one club, and this also has to kind of like all factors included, including where you currently live, where you want to live. What is one course that you want to be a member of if you could choose, other than like Augusta National?
Huh.
Because you're not. I don't think you're choosing Pine Valley because I'm not living in New Jersey.
A
Like I'm
couple
just
come to
not.
mind. There's a lot of courses in like the Westchester area, that, like Wingfoot, for example, is like one that is interesting
Okay.
to me.
Sleepy
I
Hollow would be cool.
Sleepy Hollow would be cool. I played at Quaker Ridge, which was like pretty sick. Um, I've seen the inside of Quaker Ridge, so that's why I like. They have like the simulators inside. They have like a full. If you're a golf junkie, like that's a great place to belong.
And I don't know if you can like belong to Pebble Beach, but you also have to assume that like you're just getting this like membership as like a raffle.
Right.
For instance, I can't afford to live in the Monterey Peninsula,
Right.
so that's out.
So I think like somewhere in Westchester, I mean, even like Shinnecock Hills would be very interesting. I know that's kind of out there, but like
Is
to
but
travel out
like
there to go play would be kind of sick. Even National Golf Links is also out there, which is like a sick golf course.
another thing to think about is the networking opportunities if you belong to like Shinnecock.
Yeah, right.
I'd probably just like get a car like and find a way to
Get a boat, go across the sound.
get a boat. I mean, that's more than like a membership to like most of the places around here. So, um,
But yeah, those kind of come to mind. Can't really choose one right now. I
I
mean,
think
Wingfoot would
Shinnecock
be
is
cool.
probably what I'd go with.
I just
It'd
think
be like a
Shinnecock's
long trip.
a little bit of a hike. That's all.
It is, but it's
Like if you
Shinnecock.
just like want to go to the range and like the range at Shinnecock and like hit balls or something, like it's a hike to
Then
do that. You
pay
just do a
for another
cosplay.
one.
Yeah, yeah. But you get
Pay for range
the
balls.
nice range at Shinnecock as opposed to wherever
Imagine who you
else.
could meet working at or being a
Going
member
to
at
Shinnecock.
Shinnecock as a 23-year-old.
I feel like we definitely missed a few good ones.
I know somebody who has played at Shinnecock a few times, our age.
That's interesting.
I don't know how he
Uh,
did.
yeah, I feel like Pine Valley is the best course in the region, I would say. But that again, New Jersey.
I have no clue what
Uh,
Pine Valley looks like. Isn't that crazy?
Pine Valley is Pine Valley is an interesting course. I feel like it's like
Because it's so exclusive. Like
very
I don't know what
tree
it looks like.
lined, but like we've never like really see it. Be cool if they hosted like a how they do the match. Be cool if they hosted like the match there or something.
I don't think that'll happen.
Neither do I, but
They like only host that one like it's not I don't know if it's like Walker Cups, but they host like something every year. Like it's like a amateur event.
yeah,
Some
I'm like looking. I'm on the top courses in the Northeast, top 50 courses in the
Mhm.
Northeast. Pine Valley 1, Shinnecock 2, National Golf Links 3. We mentioned. Pennsylvania is kind of not too far for us.
What like
Um,
Marion?
yeah, Marion and Oakmont. Friar's Head is in Baiting Hollow, New York. Wingfoot,
I've
obviously.
heard a lot of good things about Friars Head.
Yeah, Liberty National would be cool.
See, Bayonne,
Yeah, that too.
just like a ferry ride away from New York City. That's
Exactly.
probably the answer
The
right
thing
now.
about Wingfoot is if you do Wingfoot, you get two championship golf courses because you get the East and the West at Wingfoot.
Are they both championship golf courses?
Yeah, they're both like
They
top 50
both
golf courses in the
hosted
Northeast.
majors though.
I think they do a little bit of both of the courses. They like
Oh,
combine them a little
correct,
bit.
correct, correct. You're right.
But yeah, so you would get 2 courses if you went there. Same thing as if you went to
So that'd be like more of a long-term
like
thing, but like right,
Baltusrol, two
if it had to
courses.
be like I only get it for a year, it might change to like, or for like a golf season, it might change to Bayonne because right now we're in New York City and we could just
Right.
take the ferry right across.
Yeah, that is an interesting question though. I'm curious what other people would say if they had to join or belong to one club. I mean, I guess it's very like what location are you in? What
Mhm.
nice courses are close to you? You know.
Yeah, like what if you live in Nebraska? Are you just like, I guess the local muni?
Why do I feel like there's like a sick course in Nebraska that just like
It probably is.
probably a sick course in most states that you go to?
There's probably no championship courses, but
I don't know, maybe.
there's definitely like nice golf courses, but I don't think anything
But
that
you
could like
also do have to take into account like weather. Like like say it's a year you get to join this golf club. Like, and if you're playing in the Northeast for a year, like you're not getting that course for a lot of the
nowadays
year.
you get it for a
Nowadays you
good
kind of do.
amount of time. Like how warm it is year round now. Like there hasn't been. It snowed last night, like kinda, and then it was gone, or 2 nights ago, and it was kind of gone like the next day. So, and I don't think there's any today anymore. So like
Yeah,
you can play golf like year round now,
I guess
and
I guess it depends on the course, like what courses would be open this time of year. But like you
sure.
just get like a year, you move down to Florida for like 1 year, like join Seminole or something for a year, and then come
I mean,
back.
it'd be worth it because just again
All the
the
tour
network
pros, yeah,
thing.
all the tour pros that are at Seminole like must be insane. That pro am looked like fun.
Yeah, I think JT won it, and then he also was like leading the pro am today. So JT's not going to win this week. No, no, we can move into API. Um,
Yeah, let's do it.
we're coming off a big win. We moved up. I want to say like 100 and like 20, 140 places. I think we're up to like 344 out of 800 people. We need to get to 80 people to rank inside of um, the people who get paid. And this week's a big week because one win and for like $3.4 million, and we probably move up like another 200 or so.
Yeah, uh, a win would be pretty big for us this week. Now, there's strategy involved. Obviously, AP Invitational is an elevated event, uh, so a first, second, or third place finish does us well.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, if we come in the top three, we're extremely happy with that, and top five, we'd be happy too. But like,
Yeah,
this is an event where in these elevated events, you can't put up a dud. You can't put up like a miscut. Like you can't afford to do it if you want to be in the top 80 at the end of the year.
yeah. It's just like, for example, last year, Scotty Scheffler is the winner last year. Scotty
Yeah,
Scheffler like fits this course pretty well. Feel like we'd want to pick him at like here or maybe at the Players. I don't know what other courses we'd like, even one of the majors maybe, but like,
Masters, but
do
like
do we
I
want to
think we want to
like
use
do we
live.
burn him here? I don't know. I feel like this would be a good spot if I was
I
thinking
agree,
about it.
and I think I like using. So if we're gonna go down that route, I think I like using him here more than I like using Will Zalatoris.
Yeah, I agree.
If we're
Just
gonna go
because,
down the chalk line.
right? Yeah, I mean it'd be like him or maybe Rory here, but
I
it's
think there's
kind of
better places to pick. I know
yeah,
Rory's really good here.
and you could say Max Homa as well. We haven't used him yet, but I feel like there's other places for Max Homa. There's definitely other places for Rory. I mean, obviously Scotty
I do
Scheffler's
think Max
one
could win this week though.
yeah, obviously Scotty Scheffler is one of the best players in the world, and there's other places for him. But I feel like just looking at the schedule and the money that you win for these events, this might be the best place to use him. And I'm sure a lot of others are thinking the same. But yeah,
But how many people like at the same time?
like who burned him
We have
already?
done a good job of conserving guys. We had a really bad fall, and we've had a pretty good run at it here for a little bit. We've done a good job of like conserving guys. Whereas like, how many people have Max Homa left? Not over half of the pool probably.
Yeah, I would assume a lot of people chose him already. I feel like people didn't go in with the strategy of the elevated events either. I think they just went and picked guys for events, and they're running
We
out
have
of
a
guys
lot of
already.
elevated events left, so that's
Yes,
going to
and
help
we
us
have
out.
a lot of guys left that we could pick. Now we burned Rom in a week that he didn't win, which kind of sucks, but
But
whatever.
he
It was
he
an
made
elevated
us
event. He basically won, so he
he
got
made
a
us
lot of money.
1.5. Like, if you burn a guy and he comes top 3 in an elevated event, you didn't burn him, I don't think.
But yeah, but like if we're looking at the rest of the guys, I feel like we've done a good job not burning like good players.
So here's the thing. Like I said, I'd rather pick Scotty Scheffler over Zalatoris because Zalatoris, who knows? I mean, he did have a good finish at the Genesis, but everyone's all over him, and like something's got to give there. People are, I want to say overlooking Scotty because like they're not, but I don't see a ton of Scotty talk. I know a lot of people are going to pick him. I'm not going to say that we're going to be like the only ones picking him, but if we don't go down that route, there are a couple names that I like.
Okay,
I like my boy,
Scory.
Corey Connors. Scory. He has a T3 finish 2 years ago. I think like a T8 or T10 finish like last year. He's good here. Like, I know it's an elevated event, but it always kind of has been like an elevated event anyway. So it's always a good field. Um, despite it being the week before the Players, it's always still a good field. So I like him. I was looking at his form. Are you looking at his data golf right now?
Not on his data golf currently, but
I was looking at his form going into API in previous years, and like right now he's like hasn't finished great in a bunch of tournaments, but like it's kind of the same as right now. Like this is kind of where like he hits the Florida swing and he actually like plays kind of well.
yes, we're looking at T11 and solo third the last 2 years at
Yeah.
API. Again, we going into like recent when I guess API like most of the top players in the world usually play at this event anyway, just because of what it is. So like the field's similar.
And then the next two guys, I don't think do we have Tom Hoagie? I don't think so. Do we?
I feel like we did pick Tom Hoagie.
I think we. Yeah, I know. I think we burned him, but so I'll still talk on him for a second here because people are listening.
Yes.
Tom Hoagie, his proximity stats from like 150 to 175, like 125 to 150, and like 200 plus. Like he is an elite ball striker, and this course is all about your iron game.
Yeah, that is true. Tom Hoagie, I do like as a player. It's if the putter gets hot, he usually finishes in the top 10.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we're looking for this week, top 5, top 10. But again, we probably can't use him.
We're not picking
but
Tom
I
Hoagie.
like
I was just saying. But and my last one, so Tom Hoagie and this guy are guys that have been like very tipped over the past like few months. Like people have been all over them, but I don't think they'll be all over him this week. Aaron Wise plays great in tough conditions.
It's gonna be.
I saw a stat. I can't remember what it was, but he is fantastic in tough conditions. And I don't think a lot of people will be picking Aaron Wise in an elevated event. It's just a thought.
Yeah,
And I don't think it's the place to do it.
I'm not sure if it's the place to do it. We do definitely have to use him later on somewhere. I think he would be a good pick at a couple other places. But this field, when we haven't really burned anyone yet, like I don't want to get to the end
Also
of the
think about
season.
this. Corey Connors does not play well in like, I mean, I know he won the Valero Open, but that's the first thing in mind. He does not play well in like the Byron Nelsons and the Valero Opens. I know that's a term that he does well in. he plays well in these events where they're good fields and hard courses. But you can say no.
Yeah.
Tell me no, and I'll stop.
I just don't know if his putter is gonna be good enough for 4 rounds at this golf course when you have guys like Scotty Scheffler and like John Rahm and other guys at the top who will make the putts to win this event. I mean, I could definitely be eating my words here next week, but his putter has to survive the week. I feel like.
Corey Connors.
Yes, Corey Connors.
Okay. So I think that just basically narrows it down for us. And I think it's Scheffler.
I feel like we got to go with the chalk. I would feel bad if we didn't pick him and he won.
Because these elevated events, that's just the way they've been going.
And I think like Scheffler is a guaranteed top 10. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing it, but that's what I think. The way things have been going.
I don't love that you just said that.
I know now that I just said that, but I just think
don't love
true.
that.
I mean, I do like Jason Day this week. The way he's been playing, I think he's a good course fit as well. Is he ready to win a PGA Tour event right now? Maybe, but with the field that it currently is,
J Day's not bad either. That's not a bad pick.
No, not at all. Let me look at his. It's hard to look at his.
Say this. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
Where do you want to play Scheffler if it's not right now?
I mean, I think it's got to be the Players or one of the majors, right?
Yeah, I don't love him for the Open. We're not picking him for the Masters because I think we're picking like Cam Smith or somebody probably, unless we decide not to.
Right.
PGA probably a fit, and
wait, what are the other Elevate events? It's the RBC Heritage.
Kind of a Jordan,
but he did win last year, so it's hard to fully say that. It's the Wells Fargo, which kind of a Max Homa, but again, same thing. He did win last year, but Quail Hall was his course. And then the Memorial.
Memorial would be good,
but like interesting spot. And then the Travelers.
I think it's Scheffler this week. I think we pick Scheffler.
Yeah, my reasoning behind picking him for this is like there's not another spot where I'm like that's a Scheffler course. Where like every course is a Scheffler course, but like there's not another like this week we come into it and we're like that's a Scheffler course.
So it's just like yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't bite us, but I'd rather pick him now than like forget to pick or like just keep passing him off to other events than he doesn't.
Okay.
Say he falls out of
all
form.
of a sudden, I'm getting some cold feet. He didn't play great at Genesis. Did he?
He was like still finished in like the top 15. I feel like.
Did he?
That's when you know like somebody's that good. When
you
say, he didn't play that great. He finished T12.
Okay, we're going Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't play that great T11.
J Day backup.
I'm down for a J Day backup. I do like J Day.
Right. We'll go J Day backup. If Corey Connors wins, I am popping a bottle of champagne on this.
I think. Yeah, you have to put out right on that. One more name just to mention: Tyrrell Hatton has a really good success at this golf course.
He does.
I don't know how well he's been playing recently. I think he has a T6 at the WM. I think he played well there.
Yeah, he did.
T13, T6. His only PGA Tour win is at this golf course, believe it or not. So that's just
3 years ago, I believe, right before Bryson.
Yeah, 3 years ago. I think he was T2 last year though. So I don't know, just a course fit for some reason.
Was he with Woodland and Hovland?
Yeah, T2. I think he backdoored it last year, T2.
You can't really trust.
I'm not saying we're going to pick him, but it's just like a name that I want to toss out there.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, so obviously I have the inside info at API.
Right.
The rough is quote unquote thick with a bunch of C's. It is bad. I heard that Molinari like pulled it left on 18 and the ball you couldn't even see it, and like during his practice round, and he played like a low runner up the fairway like to the left of the water to like 5 feet. But it's going to be a carnage week. It's not going to be easy, and like those are the weeks that
We like
Scotty
to see that.
Scheffler, like that's kind of his game. That's his game.
Just stay in the race.
Just stays in it. Like the guy who wins this week might play like pretty like okay golf on Thursday and Friday. Just like
Just
make the cut, and then you just got to make the cut and then like go from there at this tournament.
Yeah, kind of John Rahm's recipe, which wouldn't be surprised if he wins here, but you know, not a hot take.
Yeah. So Saturday will be interesting at the beginning of the day to be like, all right, the guy who's in 20th place could win this. But let's move on. Let's get inside the clubhouse. Episode halfway. Oh, did we play the simulator thing?
I think that was 2 weeks ago now. Was it? Yeah.
I think that was last week.
Oh, maybe it was. No, it was last Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah. Have we recorded the podcast since then?
No.
We recorded the podcast beforehand.
We did.
Yeah. So we went to the Callaway Paradigm like party thing. I don't even know what you'd call
Paradigm City.
At 5 Iron Golf, and it's a good time.
Yeah, it was.
We did not hit a Paradigm, but we got a free hour on the simulator, free T-shirt. I wore it on like Sunday, I think, as like just like a bumming around the house. It fits nice. And free food and a bunch of free beers. So
yeah, it was a good time.
Can't have a less expensive night in New York City for what we did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We ended up on the simulator for a while.
You put a price on simulator time between the two of us.
Yeah, like $40 each probably.
Food and like 4 or 5 beers.
And then you add all the food and the beers. You're like up over 120 there at least.
Probably spending like $120 to $150. So I think I spent $5 because I took the subway.
I walked there. Yeah, so I spent $0.
So free day for you.
Free day.
No such thing for the free lunch.
That was pretty crazy. Hopefully they do something like that again. We did not hit the Paradigm. The lines were absurd. I think they were pumping the numbers up for people who were hitting the Paradigm. So would have been interesting.
Yeah. So the people that were hitting the Paradigm, there was this guy, like, athletic build, whatever. Okay golf swing, like anybody else that's an amateur golfer like us. Decent ball speed, probably. Like, okay. Like, good, was hitting the ball. 329 carry.
It was like
or something
170 something ball speed. I was like, what? It
was like, okay.
Trev doesn't get like to that.
That's not accurate.
Yeah. They were trying to sell some drivers, which I hope they did, but
they probably
maybe
did.
Do it again next year.
And they gave away a golf bag too.
Yeah, we didn't get to win the golf bag. It was like chipping a ping pong ball into a golf bag, which is like right up our alley based on coming out of college. That's like what you do. Chipping ping pong balls around.
But they gave me a pitching wedge.
Yeah, I waited until they pulled out the other clubs. Once they came with the other clubs, I was like the first one to go with the new clubs.
I didn't even come close.
Degree. I came pretty close on I had a pretty respectable couple of shots, I feel like.
My first one was bad. My second one was just like okay, but like with a pitching wedge, like what are you supposed to do? You can't loft it like that much.
That was like a can't win with the pitching wedge.
Yeah, that's dumb.
But yeah, no, it was a good.
Anyway, next week is the Players. It's a great time for golf right now.
Really,
great time for golf right now. And next week we'll have the live situation figured out.
Yes, I hope so.
I don't think anyone really probably came on because we
There
didn't.
was like between like 2 to 4 people just like watching
At
as
the
we went.
beginning,
But
was someone comment that they couldn't hear you?
my dad was texting me. Trev's in the chat right now.
Oh,
Trev says
oh,
taking
really?
down the
What
paradigm
is that?
today. Yeah. Trev said hit the paradigm today. My good shots were better than the bad stealth shots. That checks out, I feel like.
Okay. Um, yeah. So players next week, better live stream hopefully, and we'll actually send out the link.